Welcome traveler, I'm Free2Play and I'm your guide for successful free-to-play adventure on Ostera. You just downloaded the game and need a little instruction on how stuff works? Let's go! The first unit you're getting is a 5-star, the most valuable units who can reach the max level 100, but there are 8 random ones you can get. If you want to know which one suits you the best, go ahead and click on this video here to have a glimpse of what these 8 units are capable of. After clicking the video, you can return to that video after you found out which unit you want to use, because this video is far from over. Rerolling in SDA server doesn't work like it is in global. Go to the title screen and select options. There is another button saying delete account on the right hand side. After that, just play through the tutorial again, and as soon as you get your team members, you can try again. And soon as you're starting the game, you get confronted with the choice whether you go to the path of wealth, power or fame. That's irritating because you have to go through all of those, so you're just deciding what you'll do first. Just take one color and continue. Those team members you get are all 3 stars only? They don't need to be. Let's head right into the banner and pity system. But first we'll get a few rubies, which is the free currency version of the paid rubies, which I come to later. Those we'll get from the daily, regular and team dev mails, and can vary depending on the event we're in or on the community missions you've applied. But that's also something the future shows. Just check your mails every day and collect. With the rubies and traveler seals collected, let me explain to you the banners Global has right now, and then you have to blend in those informations to your server. Sacred Guidances are carried out for no rubies at all, but they don't have any pity or sparking. You only get the units which are in the general pool of units at that moment. The general pool is updated every once in a while when a new non-limited character had its own banner for a certain time. Chance encounters resemble the ruby version of that Sacred Guidance. 300 rubies for 10 units at a time and 30 for 1. You don't save any rubies, you just save time if pulling 10 units at one single summon. Millard and Loomis EX are the limited characters only dropping near Christmas time, so they're seasonal units, therefore no general pool, and have an increased chance to be pulled in their specific banner. Merchant's Calling is a free step-up banner. The first 10 units cost you 100 rubies, the second step costs 200, and starting with the third step, you always pay the regular 300 rubies for 10 units. A guaranteed 5-star merchant at the last step seems promising, but at the start of the game it is very more recommended to pull from a wider pool of units than just from one single class. Golden banners use the paid rubies I have been talking about. You can buy those in the shop in your menu for money and therefore have an increased chance of getting the desired character in a step up. If you decide for the non-paid version banner or not, every unit you have pulled gives you one of those called hallowed fragments, which always have other names with the new banners just to differentiate them. If you go into the exchange here, you can get these items from the fragments, or you can even have a summoning seal from exactly that unit you want to have. So there is no increased rate of getting the units someday, you get the seal alias sparking them when pulled enough units. So 200 of those fragments resembles 200 units pulled, alias 6,000 free rubies. So if you didn't pull for that specific unit on the course to investing 6,000 rubies, you could spark that. That's how most players are doing it in the global version. Have those 6,000 ready before going into the banner, because bad luck can happen to anyone, but that's totally up to you. If you are interested in further banner information, please click that video here for more details. Right now, Global has way more units which can be pulled through the general pool. SEA doesn't have those units by now, so maybe it is important for you to know which units are worth taking a look into their roster or save your rubies for. I have prepared another video here so you can get to know those units which in my opinion are worth investing a few rubies or at least the first step of their free step up to have a chance of receiving one of them. Cyrus is also one of those units which you are able to get right now. So there is no regret here. Just invest all you have in that banner until you get at least one copy of him. I will tell you later why in one of the last sections of this video. So every time you decided to pull for units and you didn't have those, you gain influence points. Influence is important for 2 aspects of the game: talking with NPCs, getting valuable items from them, or even make them accompany you as allies allies you can use in battle, or increasing your influence rank on that specific one to raise your traveler skills. Your traveler skills do matter by a little percentage, but can matter a lot the more influence growth you have. By going into your tasks and feats tab, you can also earn rubies and valuable items by clearing special feats. You can always look up what you can do to get even more rubies, and by the time you also gain influence. When raising the character's skill, you also come across influence points. Oh, what's that? Hold on a little, we're almost there. If you speak to NPCs where your influence is enough, you get to know more about them, and you can get those special items or use them as an ally in battle. Wealth NPCs need leaves, the currency in that game. So if some accessories strike your interest but the skill doesn't look so promising because using an inn is always costing 20 leaves, then well, the choice is yours. Leaves in the game are not rare at some point in the game, so treat them with care at the start. Can we make ourselves stronger now? Oh, another NPC? Red? So we have to fight him. Difficulty level 4. Maybe not strong enough now. Let's just try something you are also capable of doing. We can find, which gets us experience to level up our characters, or we receive valuable items we could not get that easy otherwise just by watching a few commercials. But before we do that, let's configure our roster. Champions of the Continent is the first game in the franchise where it is allowed to take 8 units into the battle. What's a good roster? One where you don't have only merchants, for example. A good mixture of all 8 weapon types is preferred, and covering all 6 elements would also be great from the start. I don't have any thieves and scholars now. Some units also have an elemental skill right from the start. Some do have buffs or even debuffs, which do matter a lot in mid and late game. So learning how those work is crucial for your gaming experience. If you want to know how those work right now or later, I have prepared that video here for you. Cyrus is especially good in this game because he covers 1 weapon and 3 elemental types of this game, which is half of all available elements. And especially his AoEs are very powerful. I still use him in my main game, and he still continues to be one of the best and versatile units ever. Let's go to the find section again. In the global server you have rates on what you can obtain from the item find, which can even be 30 rubies or travel seals. The rate is small, but getting at least 5 rubies every 2 or 3 days is happening to me every week. And the keys you can fight here after the commercial don't run away like they would do in the wild. So you easily get lots of XP and leaves for fighting a really easy fight you cannot lose. If you pull the unit more often, you get guide stones of that specific character. The more guide stones, the more you can increase the final level of that character. That is called limit breaking. At the moment, the final level of a 3-star is 60. A 4-star is 80, and the max level of a 5-star is 100. If you have a 4-star version of a 5-star or a 3-star version of a 4-star, then they cannot reach their final level they could have. They have to class up first. There are specific items to get first, but those are available later in the game. By class up, you also gain access to the skills that character has with that star level you could not get otherwise. You can also class up by pulling that character again from a banner with a higher amount of stars. Then it automatically classes up without the needed items. You can also invest 200 of those guide stones to acquire a new awakening level. That's a different story with 5 stars or 4-star characters who would be 5 stars. They need to be pulled again, and therefore you receive an awakening stone. That is used to awaken those characters and achieve their awakening effects. And those are not different from the 3 or 4-star awakenings, which are the following. Base attributes are added by 30%, which is max 50 by stats, battle skills plus 1, and base HP plus 50%, and this up to 1000. From now on, with the Awakenings 4 level, it's a very different story. Every unit has its own A4 effect, therefore an accessory which you can get access to as soon as you have enough dupes of that unit. Those accessories can be carried over to every other unit, so they are not character binded, which is making them so usable and exclusive. Let's head into the learned skill menu again. We have reached a few levels, therefore got JP, so-called job points, to invest in this tree. Very self-explanatory. Having the access to more skilled at the start is good, and having good passives from the start is too. The first passive on every character's 1-star board is their first passive. The second passive is acquired at level 50 at the 3-star board. Expedited learning makes you invest that job point directly without you seeing what that stat or skill is doing. A bit dangerous at the start of the game if you don't reach levels so fast, and you maybe need more stats instead of a skill or vice versa. Having a good variety on skills is more important at the start in my mind because you can exploit more weaknesses on the opponent. Not used to that at the moment? Let's take the danger level 4 NPC on after buying the latest equipment for everyone and equip it simultaneously and see how strong he is now. We get experience nuts from him. That can be used from the characters menu to increase the experience get to level up. Neat! So every time he is struck by a weapon or an element he is weak to, we uncover one of his weaknesses and he loses one shield. If he has none, he's in break, therefore receives double the damage he would normally get and can't act that turn he broke and the turn afterwards. So we uncovered 2 weaknesses with 4 attacks. Now I'll boost a new element and the ones we already hit the weaknesses with, and let's see how durable he is. Okay, that was no challenge at all. But I didn't even left the town, so there will be more challenges coming the longer you travel through the world of Ostera. And if you want to learn more about the game, you can always write in the comments or in my Discord group. There is a SEA server group for every one of you. I'd be really happy if you subscribe to the channel if you'd like my content and leave thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. See you next time, you're free to play.